Hello everyone and welcome to beautiful Fulton, Missouri, 49 degrees and sunny, and winter weather held at bay for Westminster Jays women's basketball as they take on the Fontauban Griffins, 3-5, 1-1, fifth place in the SLIAC today. Now the Westminster Jays so far sitting first in conference, 8-1 on the season, 3-0 in conference play, looking to improve to 4-0. It's been a somewhat easy gliding for Westminster so far, taking care of business within the last week against Washington and Eureka, as well as Central Bible College back on Monday, December 3rd. But with that, we'll meet the starting lineups first for the visiting Fontauban Griffins. Paige Black, a guard out of St. Louis, Missouri, and Afton High School, will start at guard, as Riley Stafford, the sophomore guard from Jackson, Missouri, will also be joining her in the guard spot. At point guard, Riley Guffey from Newburgh, Missouri, will start alongside Jillian Venegas at forward from Racine, Wisconsin, and her sister, Raven Venegas, also from Racine, as they're graduates of St. Catherine's, and that's the starting lineup for the Griffins. So Black, Stafford, Guffey with Venegas and Venegas. Now for the Westminster Blue Jays, led by head coach James Arnold, previous assistant coach at Southeast Missouri State. Rei Imamura from Kumamoto, Japan, starting at point guard with Kali Dowler from Barnesville High School in Barnesville, Ohio, starting at guard. At forward, Miracle Johnson from Memphis, Tennessee, with Abby Reese, the forward from Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And wrapping things up at guard, Kendall Adams, who on the 3rd of December was able to reach 1,000 career points between her time spent here at Westminster and Stevens College in Columbia. So for Westminster, that's Imamura, Dowler, Johnson, Reese, and Adams. Miracle Johnson towing the line up against Raven Venegas. And we are moments away from tip-off here from Henry P. Ibacourt. Here's the tip-off. It's off, it's one, and here come the Blue Jays left to right in the home whites. Sky blue lettering and numbering with a little bit of piping around the edges as well as Imamura drives down to the baseline. There's a bounce pass to Johnson for two, and Johnson sinks the first couple of points. Seconds into this first period of play, it's already 2-0 Westminster. And here comes Fontauban right to left. Fontauban, meanwhile, in the road purples with white numbering, white lettering, white trim, white waistband across the middle. Go down low, and Raven Venegas walked with it. Took a few too many steps and turns it over to Westminster. We'll see how the Blue Jays respond. As Abby Reese brings the ball to the floor with the handoff to Imamura, holds up her right thumb, and James Arnold stepping out of the coach's box to make a call. Imamura drives down to the right wing. Here's a pass down to the right corner to Adams, and they skip it around. Left wing, Abby Reese drives baseline, kicks it back out. Miracle Johnson once again, and she's good. Johnson already with 4 points, 1 minute and 6 seconds into this game. See how Fontauban can respond here, potentially with some points. They traveled in the last possession. Paige Black around the world, kicks it outside. Right wing, Stafford, 3, too strong. Rebounded by Imamura, has a tussle down low, lost the basketball. Jillian Venegas comes up with it. Now they'll try another 3 for Guffey, and collision down low, but Venegas right there to corral it back in. Riley Stafford will try another time from beyond the arc, and that's an 0 for 3 possession. And maybe a chance to make it 1 for 4 for a three-point play. What an effort down low by Riley Guffey. Get the rebound, put it back up for 2 points, and then going to the foul line, she'll have a chance to make it a three-point play with her team down 4-2. And she does exactly that. Your score now 4-3 with 8:19 to go in the first period. Imamura up top. Dribbles with the right hand, now with the left, zigzag over to the far side of the floor. The bounce pass up top of the key to Adams for 3. Yes, it's good from downtown. Adams, nothing but net. And it's 7-3. Westminster, they respond with a three-point play of their own. That last possession for Fontauban was to no avail from beyond the arc. There's a pull-up too short. And rebounded by Adams off the right block. And Imamura quickly skip pass up the floor to Kali Dowler. Saves it out of bounds. Abby Reese Throws it up the floor and stolen away by Fontaban. Here comes Paige Black. It's a foot race off the left block. Layup is good, and it's 7-5. 7 minutes and 25 seconds left to go in the first period. And Fontaban keeping this one interesting with Westminster. Imamura directing traffic up in the backcourt. Now dribbles to the near side with the right hand. Calls up the play, and there's an explosion down into the paint by the Blue Jays. Sea of white coming out against these jerseys in purple. And a foul is called with Collie Dowler going up off to the left side of the lane. And Abby Reese checks out, and in comes Abby Sutterfield. Imamura to trigger it in, gives it to Adams. Couple of dribbles up on the far side of the left wing, and then Imamura will reset. 23 seconds on the shot clock, 6:52 to play in the first period. 7-5 Westminster. Dowler, wide open three, rattles in, rattles out. Miracle Johnson leading the team in offensive boards, gets another chance for her program. And Adams has a collision out of the right wing with Riley Stafford. Might have been Paige Black. No, they're going to give it to Riley Guffey. We'll get it right one of these times. That's already the second foul on Fontaban. Pop and stop, and there's the drop. Kendall Adams with her first 2 points of the day. It's 9-5 Westminster. 6:23 to play, first period. Guffey dribbles with the left hand, guarded by Adams. Out on the left wing. Now, no look pass over to the right side of the wing. Traveling inside is Venegas posting up. Here she turns and fires and hits off the left of the rim. Karam right into the arms of Adams, and here she comes racing up the floor. Pulls up on the left wing. Bullet pass down low to Miracle Johnson. She goes down low, but Raven Venegas won the battle that time. Nothing on that possession for the Blue Jays, and Fontaban responds with a quick 2-point bucket by Riley Guffey. Guffey pulls the Griffins back within 2, 9-7 with 5:37 to play in the first period of play. Imamura with the bounce pass up to the top of the key. That's Johnson. Now she goes 2-on-1 and draws the foul. Bucket did not count, but she will have a chance at the free throw line to get a couple of points back. So far, the Griffins have shot the ball 8 times and have only made 3 of their attempts. 0 for 3 from beyond the arc, and all 3 of those misses coming on the same possession. But Johnson sinks the first free throw. Meanwhile, Westminster 4 of 6 from the field and 1 for 1 from beyond the arc, and now 1 for 1 from the free throw line. Gives them 10 points. They lead 10-7 with 5:26 to play first period. Second free throw on its way, and it's true. So Johnson does her job at the free throw line, and the Griffins bring it back right to left. Guffey drives down low, kicks it back out to her right. It's Riley Stafford. She's guarded by Imamura. She's not giving up an inch. Imamura forces the ball off quickly. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Imamura takes the charge for her team. Set her feet at the right block. There was nowhere for Guffey to go but directly into her. Turns the ball over, and Westminster puts another foul on the board for the Griffins. 5:07 left to play in the first period. 11-7 Westminster. Imamura calls a play in the backcourt. Guarded toughly by Paige Black. So dribble around a couple of times out on the left wing, and here comes Adams with the floater, and Adams sinks it. Adams makes it 13-7 on the floater field goal. 4:43 left to play in the first period. Largest lead of the day for the Blue Jays. Griffins create space. Here's a three. Molly Profer, too strong. 0 for 4, lit on the rim for the Griffins from beyond the arc. Imamura, skip pass, catch and shoot. Dowler for 3. You can count it. Timeout on the floor. The Griffins feel the heat. And Westminster's not turning the stove off quite yet. 16-7, 4:22 to play in the first period. We'll be right back with more Westminster women's basketball on the Blue Jays Sports Network. During the break, see head coach James Arnold being emphatic with his team, using everything as a teaching moment. His team has a very comfortable lead, 16-7. The way runs can go in basketball, well, you don't want to keep there any chances of the Griffins or any team to climb back into the driver's seat. So using every moment as a teaching opportunity, as he does well. And with that, we welcome you back to Henry P. Iba Court. 4:11 to play in the first period. Here come the Griffins down low. A wide open bucket and a missed opportunity for Riley Stafford. Stafford broke the ankles of a defender and had a wide open chance to score, but to no avail. Westminster comes back up with the basketball. Imamura drives down to the right side, or should say right wing. Ball is stolen away again by Paige Black. Here she goes to the other side, and a hard foul on the other end. Callie Dowler. Fouled Paige Black awfully hard, and Dowler might come out as Corey Reese is looking to check back in, play some ball with her sister Abby. First free throw's a brick for Black. And Corey Reese comes in and Imamura comes out, so Dowler will stay out on the floor. Another substitution out of the break is Janae Williams from Jacksonville, Florida, the senior. Will get some time to spell Miracle Johnson. 3:41 to play in the first period, 16-8 Blue Jays. Adams dashes up the floor. Bounce pass, Dowler for three. Dowler connects from the corner. 19-8. And the Blue Jays are not letting up here on the Griffins. Chloe Lower turns the ball over. Here come the Blue Jays left to right. Adams with the pass, left wing corner. Yes, another three. Adams is on fire. James Arnold loves it. His team has extended the lead 22-8 with 3:09 to play in the first period. Adams is now perfect on all of her shots. She has 10 points. Right elbow. Here's a shot that's made. Sarah Shrout for two, and that puts a cap on the scoreless drive for the Blue Jays. I should say the scoreless no points part of the drive for the Griffins, as the Blue Jays just really tacked on quite a few there. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Michaela Jackson drives down to the right wing and brings the ball back up top of the key. Under 10 seconds on the play clock. I should say on the shot clock, and stolen away by Shrout. Shrout almost lost control of the basketball, but she goes coast to coast. And that's another fast break scoring chance for Fontabon. Long three. My goodness. The Blue Jays can't miss from beyond the arc. Dowler sinks that one. Dowler with 9 points. And the Blue Jays are now 5 for 5 from beyond three. 15 of their 25 points from beyond the arc so far in the first period alone. Adams, tough defense on Lower, and she stuck her hand a little too far into the cookie jar, so she'll get charged for the foul. That'll be Adams' first foul. I'd like to take this opportunity to big get well wishes to Mr. Bob Arnold. Supposed to be here for this homestand, but instead is listening from his hospital bed back east. And this is a message directly from head coach James Arnold. We love you, Bob, and hope you feel better soon. Imamura with the steal. And she's blocked, but down low, it's Miracle Johnson as the insurance policy. She'll go back to the free throw line, already 2 for 2. And from all of us here at Westminster College to Mr. Bob Arnold, we do hope you feel better and hope you enjoy today's game. There's Johnson's first free throw rejected by the front of the iron, and that's the first miss for her today from the free throw line. Now 2 of 3, has 2 rebounds, 1 foul, 6 points. And there's point number 7 as the ball pinballs off the back of the glass and uses the front lip of the rim to fall into the nylon. 12-16. And a jump ball as Abby Reese right there on point to tie it up with Sarah Shrout. Possession arrow is with the Griffins, so a stoppage of play now. 141 to go in the first period, and maybe the possession arrow was not pointing the right way as the referees are over here at the scores table. I guess it's the shot clock. There's 4 seconds ran off the shot clock, so it's still the Griffins' possession, and they'll have a chance to inbound it. Into the backcourt, the ball goes to Riley Stafford. And Stafford up to Shrout as Shrout feeds it off to Boaz. Boaz, hand off to Black. Black down low. Black rejected by the bottom of the rim. I should say the bottom of the glass. Got a little too far down low, almost to the point of no return, and Kendall Miller was there with the hot defense. Miller, a sophomore, a first year, part of the Blue Jays program from School of the Osage, and I think, again, they're having issues with maybe the shot clock. And they had to reset to 20 seconds as opposed to 30, so they got it straightened out now. And a substitution for Kendall Adams. Michaela Jackson checks in. Jackson, the sophomore from Eureka, Missouri. Inbound for the Griffins. Stafford tries a three. Stafford connects for the first three-point bucket of the day for Fontibon, and 26-15 your score. The $1:20 to go in the first period. Imamura at center court. Dribbles with the left hand down to the left wing. Looking for an open teammate to give it to. She's being guarded really tough by Black, and Black forces a turnover. Black already with a couple of steals in this one. Forced the turnover there on Westminster. That's the 5th turnover of the day for the Blue Jays. 5 turnovers, but only 5 points to show for Fontibon, so Westminster's doing something right defensively despite offensively turning the ball over. Another issue with the shot clock. 29 seconds, only 1 second ticked off, and Fontibon had the ball for about 4. So this mistake will actually give the Griffins time to make a substitution. Shrout comes in for Molly Profer. So 1 minute to play in the first period. 26-15 your score. The Blue Jays sitting on top. Down low, Johnson tips it away and picked up by Ray Imamura. Imamura dribbling hard across the floor, down to Johnson. Johnson double team, kicks it back out. Imamura from downtown. It's good, swirls it in. 29-15. The Blue Jays are leading big. Just under 35 seconds to play in the first period. No look down low and a good response. Riley Stafford from Jackson, Missouri, the sophomore, connects off the left block, and there's about 5 seconds between the shot clock and the game clock, with 19 seconds to play in the first period. Imamura guarded by Paige Black. Looks over to Arnold for guidance. Gets a play and now dribbles around. Actually, there's no shot clock on. 4 seconds down low, and Abby Reese is fouled. The freshman from Cape Girardeau. That'll be the 5th foul on the Griffins. And Reese will go to the line. Both teams have just missed 1 free throw so far today. 2 of 3 for the Griffins and 4 of 5 now for the Blue Jays. Johnson comes out to take a breather for the final 4 1/10 of a second left on the clock here in the first period. In will come Janae Williams. Here's the second free throw, and it's good for Johnson. I should say for Abby Reese. Here come the Griffins. 3 seconds to play, and a double dribble. Riley Stafford lost her footing, lost count of her steps, so Westminster with a chance to maybe cap on a couple more points, already up 31-17. 1.8 seconds to play in the first period. Abby Reese to key this one in on the far baseline. Gives it into Adams. Adams throws up, and Adams draws the foul, possibly from beyond the arc. We'll see how many free throws she gets. Adams turned and fired, and I think the referees confer about this one, and they're going to give her 2 shots. That's the way to make something out of nothing. Blue Jays turn a big mistake away from the Griffins and an opportunity to potentially make it 2 points. Adams at the line. Here's the first free throw, and it swishes the nylon for 1 point, 32-17. Only 0.6 of a second left in the period, so there's not really a lot here the Griffins can do with it if it's missed. Now, since she made it, theoretically you could throw it up, but they're just going to take their lumps into the break. 33-17, your score at the end of the first period. Got 3 more to play here in Fulton, Missouri, and we'll be right back with more Westminster women's hoops here on the Blue Jays Sports Network. 33-17, Westminster leads. Move your feet and don't foul, the message for James Arnold and his squad. They did a pretty good job of that in the first period, leading Fontbonne 33-17 through the first 10 minutes of play. Just 3 fouls on Westminster, 7 on the Griffins. So welcome back to Iba Court in beautiful Fulton, Missouri. 49 degrees and sunny, a picturesque December day. James Stanley with you here on the Blue Jays Sports Network. And we thank you for spending your time with us here on this Saturday afternoon, the end of finals week for Westminster. Adams drives into traffic, and she is fouled on her way up to the rim, so she'll go back to the free throw line. Just there a moment to go to close out the first period. Speaking of finals, today is the final day for finals here at Westminster College, and Miracle Johnson had a final before the game, before today's game, so got that one out of the way, and she has another one immediately after the game, coming up at 3 o'clock, so I don't know if they will hold the tape for her or not, but surely they'll give her a little bit of time maybe to get on over there, but not really a lot of opportunity for last-minute studying. Second free throw hits off the side of the iron and rebounded to the right by the Griffins. Here they come in purple, right to left. Raven Venegas on the left wing, guarded by Johnson. The pass over to the far right wing to Stafford. Stafford circles in low. Johnson pulls it away, snatched out of the bottom of the rim, and here come the Blue Jays. Blue Jays in transition, 3 points, 2 points, rather, for Abby Reese. Reese is good off the left block, got the finger roll, and it's 36-17 Westminster. Fontbonne trying to stay in this one, but a foul down low. Paige Black had her wrist slapped as she went up for 2 points. And Black will be at the free throw line. That free throw for Black gives her 4 points. She's now 2 of 3 from the charity stripe today. Here's the second one, and you can count it. 5 points for Black. Imamura bounce pass to Johnson into the paint, and Johnson walked with it. Speaking of which, with that 5th point for Black, she's now tied for the team lead today with Riley Stafford. 3 of Black's 5 points have come from the charity stripe. Speaking of Stafford, here she drives down low, guarded by Imamura, and she draws the foul. Imamura reached a little too far in, so James Arnold with that word of advice to his team out of the break at the end of the first period, saying move your feet and don't foul. Well, his team's already done that twice here just in the last 1 minute. Stafford makes it a little bit closer for Fontbonne. 8:52 to play in the half, 36-20 in favor of Westminster. Here's the next free throw, and it clanks off the front of the iron, but the backboard makes sure it rattles in, so 36-21. Adams, fleet-footed, had to pick up the basketball, nearly lost control of it. They swing it around to Abby Reese. Now she zips a pass down low to Johnson, and Johnson uses the glass for her advantage. Another 2 points for Johnson. She has 9, and it's 38-21 Westminster. Raven Venegas, what a move. Down low, almost got her own rebound, and Miracle Johnson goes down hard on the floor. She might feel that one tomorrow, but she did get her team the ball back. Here's Adams for 3. Clanks hard at the back of the rim. Rebounded really strongly and far away by Venegas. Raven Venegas now dribbles off her own foot, and a jump ball called with the possession arrow staying with the Blue Jays. 8 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the half. It's 38-21 Westminster. Now Adams will have to relace up, as well as maybe we'll have Raven Venegas after dribbling the ball off her foot. Has some black kinesio tape on her knees. It's a new science that's recently developed in the last 6 or 7 years. Became really popular with tennis to start things off, and now we see it more and more in football, basketball, and most sports. But Imamura carried the ball a little too hard, palming the call. Turns the ball over, and that'll give it right back to the Griffins. Lower brings the ball up the floor. The pass off to the left wing above the head of Paige Black. She feeds it down low, creating space. Stafford for 3. Stafford commits an offensive foul. Abby Reese took that one for the team. And James Arnold wants a quick word with Miracle Johnson. One of the telltale signs of a good coach. He's involved in every play for Westminster, looking for things that the Blue Jays could do better. With the game of basketball, as with most sports, there's always opportunities to improve. 38-21 is a really good lead right now, and I'd say 99% of coaches would be happy with it, but you always want to get better. There's something you can do better every day, and that's the philosophy of James Arnold. But Johnson can't finish on her attempt down low, and here come the Griffins right to left. Stafford onto the right wing, dribbles a couple of times, and knocks over Imamura. She takes another one for the team, and that's already 3 fouls on Fontbonne. 38-21 your score with 7:24 to play in the half. Imamura walks the ball up on the far side of the floor, now crosses the center line, changes hands with the dribbling. Drives down low, kicks it out to Callie Dowler. Dowler finds Adams on the right wing. She dribbles to her left, now changes direction to her right. Zigzagging down low to Johnson, wide open. Johnson's shot hits off the left side of the rim, then rolls out. But an offensive foul on Dowler will give the ball back to the Griffins. Chloe Lohr, the freshman from St. Louis, Missouri. As many of these players are. Fontbonne located on the eastern side of the Show Me State. able to draw a foul, and that'll be the third on the Blue Jays. Imamura will check out, and Corey Reese will come back in. Got some playing time early in the first period, as well as Michaela Jackson. We've seen her come in and out a few times. She comes in for Callie Dowler. Left wing. Here's a pull-up shot for Paige Black. She's fouled from beyond the arc, so that'll be 3 shots. 3 attempts from the free throw line. Westminster's kind of fallen stagnant the last couple 3 minutes in the scoring department. They do have Johnson out on the floor as the first free throw goes through for Black, as well as Abby Reese, Corey Reese, Michaela Jackson, and Kendall Adams. Adams now with more than 1,000 points for her entire collegiate career, split between Stevens College and Westminster. Here's the third free throw. The first 2 are already good, and it's a hat trick for Paige Black from the free throw line. Corey Reese dribbles down to the right corner. Tries to give a no-look pass to Johnson. She wasn't ready for it. Hits off her knees, and another turnover for the Blue Jays. Griffins could regain a little bit of ground here in the second period. Corey Reese with really good defense, but creates space for Profer. Profer airballs it right into the arms of Kendall Adams. Here she comes trucking up the floor. Drives to the baseline. Here's the floater, and once again sinks one from 5 feet out. It's 40-24 Blue Jays. And a double dribble called against Fontbonne will give it right back to Westminster. It's now 9 turnovers against the Griffins. There's Corey Reese with a pass up to Michaela Jackson on the left wing. Jackson trying to find an open look for Adams potentially. Now dribbles it back out. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Jackson looking around, gives it to Adams as she goes into traffic down low. Tries to get her own rebound, and she's called for the over the back. Jumped over the back of Paige Black. And that'll be the 6th foul on Westminster. And with that, the Griffins are in the bonus with 5:42 to play in the half, trailing 40-24. Blacks, here's her first free throw in this trip. That's her 7th made free throw of the game already. 7 of 8 from the line. And she make it 8 for 9 on this next one. And she does. So 40-26, only a 14-point deficit now for the Griffins. As Corey Reese plays catch with her sister Abby, and they mix things up. Really tough man-to-man defense here for Fontbonne. Drive down low, and Callie Dowler is able to draw the foul. So Dowler will go back to the free throw line. Dowler doesn't get to the free throw line often in games, but is able to sink quite a few. Her first trip of the day. First free throw it misses, and it's already 3 fouls already on Chloe Lohr. And actually they fix it now. It's not 3 on Lohr, that's just her first, so good catch by this officiating crew. It's not what the scoreboard said, but 41-26. Second free throw is good for Dowler. And how can the Griffins come back from this 15-point deficit? Going to be hard when you turn it over like that. Dowler comes away with the basketball. Dowler brings the ball up the floor, drives left to the baseline, and is fouled out on the left elbow. Top of the key, and that'll be the 5th foul on Fontbonne. So Dowler already 1 for 2 on the day, make it 2 for 3. Both teams now into the bonus. First period was played fairly quickly, not a lot of fouls. I guess there was 7 on Fontbonne, but it seems like there was not a lot of stoppage of play. Another turnover. Dowler with 2 steals on the last 2 possessions. Way to make a threat on defense. She's setting up Westminster pretty so far, and here's a 3 for Dowler. Hits off the front of the iron, but an offensive rebound for Miracle Johnson. Johnson cleans up the basketball on the rebound. Another offensive board for Johnson, and it's 45-26. Westminster 1 point away from the threshold of a 20-point lead. 4:37 to play in the half. We'll be right back with more Westminster women's basketball on the Blue Jays Sports Network when we come back. Four minutes and 37 seconds left to play in the half. Westminster leads it 45-26 over Fontbonne, and I'd like to welcome you back to Henry P. Iba Court on the campus of Westminster College in Fulton, Missouri. James Stanley with you this afternoon on the Blue Jays Sports Network. Coming up after the women's game, we will have the men's taking on Westminster men's basketball taking on Fontbonne in this SLIAC doubleheader. That'll be the SLIAC game of the week. So thank you for sticking around with us here on the Blue Jays Sports Network. But back to women's basketball. 28 seconds on the shot clock. Still having a few issues with the shot clock operation, but the Griffins got it straightened out. Here they come right to left. Riley Stafford hold on to the basketball an awful long time, and a 5-second violation. No one to give it to, so the Blue Jays will take back over. And count that now as the 13th turnover of the game for the Griffins. Abby Reese into the set out of the break to Michaela Johnson. Back over to Corey Reese. Stolen away again by Paige Black. Here comes Paige Black, and a good defensive effort down low for Corey Reese to get back on defense, but she fouls Black once more. She'll go back to the free throw line. This will be her 9th trip, or should say 9th attempt of the game, and her 5th trip already, and there's still 4:05 to play in the first half. And that now gives her 8 made free throws, 8 for 9 from the charity stripe. Talk about the free throws. That's really keeping Fontbonne in this game and preventing the Blue Jays from really running away with it. It's still 45-28. But without the free throws, this game would look a little bit different. It's now a dozen free throws made and another turnover forced by Fontbonne. Stafford on the right wing. But with the turnovers, a dozen turnovers, or should say a dozen free throws made, and Stafford gathers another 2 points. A timeout call by James Arnold. Take away those 12 points, and this game would be 45-18. 3:39 to play in the half, and we'll be right back with more Westminster women's basketball on the Blue Jays Sports Network. 45-30 your score. Welcome back to Henry P. Iba Court. in Fulton, Missouri. James Stanley with you this afternoon on the Blue Jays Sports Network. 3:37 to play in the first half. Westminster leads at 45-30, a 15-point advantage for the Blue Jays. And man-to-man full-court press for Fontbonne. Kendall Miller fires a three, had to gather the basketball after losing it. But again, it's Dowler who's there as the insurance pulse. He gets the offensive board and makes it 47-30. Down low, and another foul called on Westminster. Sarah Strout, the senior from Lindbergh High School, namesake of Charles Lindbergh, another important figure of the 20th century, as well as Winston Churchill. And Henry P. Iba Court, also known as Westminster College Historic Gym, is the site of Winston Churchill's famous Iron Curtain speech, right here in this very room. If you're wondering why it's called Westminster Historic Gym, well, that's the exact reason why. It's a National Historic Landmark. You can't make any alterations to the structure. It's supposed to look the way it did at the time of Winston Churchill's speech. But back to basketball as Henry P.I., but as Imamura turns the ball over, throwing it into the backcourt, and over the line violation. We'll give it right back to Fontbonne. Johnson down low nearly stopped the advancement of Jillian Venegas. They're going to call a foul on the floor. They're going to tag Johnson for the foul. Johnson, not exactly sure what happened there. Venegas was driving to the lane after getting the offensive rebound. Johnson was on the floor. Johnson was just trying to avoid being stepped on. That could have been really ugly had Jillian Venegas come down on her head with her foot. So James Arnold having a discussion with the referees about that one, and I have to agree, is case in point. But regardless, still a 14-point lead for Westminster. Imamura down low. Miracle Johnson fouled, and count the bucket. Miracle Johnson will go back to the free throw line for the fifth attempt of her outing, and just 1 hour and 13 minutes away from that final exam. They'd better quit fouling here, though. She wants to get there on time. And down low, the rim rejects Stafford this time. Or I should say the right side of the glass. Imamura, she's in a hurry. Up the floor, out on the right wing. Finds Johnson. Johnson into the paint. Johnson creating space for Miller for three. Miller, two strongs. Karams off the back of the iron. Rebounded by Miller. She's on the floor. And a jump ball will give the ball back to Fontbonne with 2:12 to play in the half, down by 17. Fontbonne trailing 50-33. Paige Black keys it in. And Riley Stafford to walk it up the floor. Now over to the far side. She'll be guarded by Imamura. Now a short little pass to Jillian Venegas. Venegas creates space for Stafford. And Imamura climbs the ladder to make the rebound with just under 2 minutes to play in the half. Imamura kicks it outside. Feed it to Miller. Miller still cannot buy a bucket from beyond the arc. Actually, that's not Miller. That's Courtney Wolf. Miller came out, Wolf came in. Here's Wolf with a no-look pass up to the top of the key to Imamura. She drives into the paint at the free throw line. Down low, backs it up to Johnson, and Johnson into the paint. Has her wrist slapped, and she'll go to the free throw line once more. This will be her fourth trip to the charity stripe in this one. Already 4 for 5 with 14 points. Dowler also with 14. She's played one heck of a game. 4 for 6 from the field, 3 for 4 from beyond the arc. 3 for 3 from the free throw line. And Kendall Adams with 15 points, 5 for 7 from the field. So she's continuing to amaze all of us here at Westminster College. Now Kendall Miller is back into the set with the Blue Jays leading nearly by 20 52-33, a buck and change to play in the half. Rebounded by Wolf, and here comes Westminster left to right. Corey Reese nearly trapped down low. I should say that's Dowler. Miller, she tries a triple. It rattles in and rattles out. And down low is Johnson. Johnson draws the foul once again after getting the offensive board. Miracle Johnson, her 5th rebound. And at least 3 of those have been of the offensive variety, possibly 4. She makes the first free throw, and she's been to the charity stripe of nearly as many times as Paige Black. Black 9 of 10 from the free throw line, and Miracle Johnson now 6 of 8. Or 7 of 8. Make that 8 of 9. 54-33, and the Blue Jays have their largest lead of the afternoon by 21. Jillian Venegas walks with the basketball. Maybe thought about walking over to the Churchill Museum at the bottom of the hill here at Westminster College. Took too many steps, and the Blue Jays have 56 seconds to work with. 54-33. Westminster leads big. Adams trying to back it up at the free throw line. Now gets around Jillian Venegas and draws the foul. Man, so many fouls have stopped the clock here in the second period. Adams will go to the free throw line. That's the same players getting fouled each time. Only 4 players have been fouled for Westminster. Johnson has 9 free throw attempts. Adams has 5. Makes her 4 for 5 after that one was made. 3 attempts for Dowler. She's 3 for 3. And Abby Reese 2 for 2. And Adams is perfect, and there's 13.5 seconds differential between the shot clock and the game clock. So the Griffins will not be able to hold for the last possession. This puts Westminster in a good position to maybe hold for the final shot, up by 23. Stafford brings the ball up on the near side with a pass off to Jillian Venegas. Venegas down low finds Profer, and Profer loses the basketball out of bounds, but last touched by Kendall Miller. Miller shot 3 times from beyond the arc so far in this one, and is yet to connect from downtown, so maybe in the second half she can heat up just a little bit. She'll probably get some more playing time. But a foul is called against Corey Reese. That's Reese's second foul. Talk about foul trouble. 3 for Miracle Johnson and 3 for Paige Black. Both of them respective team-leading scorers in this game, with Black already back at the free throw line. No, actually make that Riley Stafford. Stafford now tied for the team lead in points with 11. She could go up on Black if she makes this one, and she does. So she has 12 points and leads the Griffins. Meanwhile, for Westminster, 18 points for Johnson, 17 for Adams, 14 for Dowler. The next highest score after that is Abby Reese. She has 4. So 1.2 seconds between the shot clock and the game clock, and Johnson is back in there to try to get a few more points. The Blue Jays could potentially hold for the last shot. There's not a lot that Fontbonne could do in the final couple of seconds. Here's a drive down low, and off the left block, it's missed by Corey Reese, but a foul called. And they get Kendall Miller on a hold, so Miller will put Jillian Venegas at the free throw line. Has no points on the day, could potentially get her first point of the afternoon if she makes this one, and she does. So 56-36 your score, cutting into this 20-point deficit for the Blue Jays. I should say the 20-point lead for the Blue Jays. Second free throw rattles around and rebounded by Westminster. Get that one to Jaden Monig. At the buzzer, Johnson fires from the right elbow and can't sink it, so Westminster leads it 56-36. James Arnold has to feel pretty good about this one in the first half, but still will be looking for things for his team to improve upon They're taking on the fifth place team in the SLIAC, and the Westminster Jays are undefeated so far, 3-0 in SLIAC play. But that's how the first half ends. We'll see you in about 15 minutes for the second half of play. 56-36, the Blue Jays lead it over the Griffins. We'll be right back with more Westminster women's basketball on the Blue Jays Sports Network. Welcome back to Henry P. Iba Court. James Stanley with you on the Blue Jays Sports Network. The second half just about to start. 40 seconds left till the second half buzzer sets us off here in Fulton, Missouri. I'd like to thank you again for spending your Saturday afternoon with us here, and especially to Bob Arnold. And big get well wishes to him, as supposed to be here for this homestand, including games today and Monday. But instead he's listening from his hospital bed back east, and a message personally from head coach James Arnold to his father and from all of us here at Westminster College. Hope you feel better soon, Bob. And thank you for your support of Westminster Athletics. But 56-36 the score at the half. Miracle Johnson leading the Blue Jays 18 points, 5 for 10 from the field, 0 for 0 from beyond the arc. Not someone who takes a lot of three-point attempts on a year. 8 for 9 from the free throw line with 5 rebounds. That also leads the Jays. Does have 3 fouls, however. She will start things out here in the second half. And the Blue Jays will start things off moving right to left this time. Imamura alongside Dowler, Adams, Abby Reese, and Johnson in for the set for the Blue Jays. And already issues with the shot clock to start us off here. We had a couple of stoppages of play early on. So I don't know if they're going to reset to 10 minutes on the game clock or if they're going to reset to 28 seconds on the shot clock, but we'll see which way they go. Leading scorers for Fontbonne, 12 points for Stafford, 11 for Paige Black. Sarah Schrout off the bench has 6 points, and Guffey with 5 off the bench, or 5 as a starter actually. Meanwhile, Julian Venegas and Raven Venegas both with just 1 point, and collectively, they are 2 for 4 from the free throw line. They reset to 10 minutes, however, so there's a couple of seconds of your day you won't get back, but who's counting all those little stoppages of time? Adams feeds it off to Dowler, who fires a 3, but a long three-point bucket can't connect, and here comes Fontbonne with a chance to open up the scoring here in the second half, trailing by 20. Out on the right wing, it's Guffey with a bounce pass down to the right corner. Then here comes Paige Black. Feeds it over to Raven Venegas. Venegas down low. Guard against Johnson. The rim says not today. Adams with the rebound. Adams floats it up floor. Abby Reese. Oh, the ball hung on the ledge of the lip and did not fall through the nylon. Instead, it's picked up by Fontbonne. Fontbonne, here's a response. 2 points. They open up the scoring. Riley Stafford, the sophomore from Jackson, Missouri, puts it through for 2. 56-38 your score, 9:08 to play in the third period. Abby Reese down low to Johnson. Johnson backs up, throws it too high off the glass, rebounded by Raven Venegas. She and her sister both have some of that Kinesio tape on. Jillian Venegas with it on her knees and Raven on her right shoulder. Raven zigzags to the basket. Guarded by Johnson and missed coverage. Stafford right there to put it back up for 2 points. That gives her 14 now on the day. Still a 16-point lead for the Blue Jays, but a 4-0 run in the first minute and 30 seconds of the second half for the Griffins. Dowler wide open from downtown. Clinks off the front of the rim. Rebounded strongly and wide by Courtney White. And actually not Courtney White, that's Paige Black. Different last names. And a defensive foul, a hold down low, and they're going to call that one on Shelby Jacks. No, it's on Fontbonne. There was celebration from the Griffin bench. And they get the second foul on Riley Stafford. Abby Reese almost lost control of the basketball. Stafford nearly had another steal. She and Paige Black have really been a thorn in the side of Westminster this afternoon. 3-point bucket, nothing but nylon. Dowler with another 3. Dowler, 17 points. And now the top 3 scorers for Westminster. Johnson with 18, Adams and Dowler have 17. Here's a drive for Raven Venegas. Down low, and seems like some adjustments being made by Myrene Sias. Making some adjustments out of the locker room, and so far it's paying off. So far they've outscored Westminster 6-3. It was a 4-0 run at one point. (59-42), 7:22 to play in the third period. Kendall Adams gets the feed in. Adams drives baseline and draws the foul. It was on a Venegas, but not sure which one. We'll see what the scoreboard says. So Kendall Adams will be at the free throw line, and that'll be on Raven Venegas. Adams at the charity stripe. Puts the first free throw through. It's her first point of the second half of play. Now has 18 points and 6 of 7 from the charity stripe. Here's the next free throw, and clanks in and out. Almost rattled down, but too much spin on the basketball. Still an 18-point lead for Westminster with 7:10 to play in the third period. Raven Venegas down low, guarded by Janae Williams. Williams turns it over. She stole that right out of the hands of Raven. And here comes Westminster, but a foul on the far side of the floor by Paige Black. Thought she maybe had a steal, but actually they're going to tag Jillian Venegas with this one. Same purple 24. That's Jillian Venegas. But pipped away by Paige Black. Another steal. Scoop and score. And the finger roll. The ball held up on the lip of the rim. Had a lot of spin on it and spun through the nylon for another 2 points. 60-44. This 20-point deficit now been cut down to 16. 8 points for the Griffins and another turnover, but Riley Guffey tripped over her own feet, and they're going to call a foul. Foul on Janae Williams. And Williams will come out, and Miracle Johnson will come back in. And in case you're just now joining us, we talked about it earlier. Johnson took a final this morning. This is the last day for finals here at Westminster College. Their finals week extends into a Saturday. And Johnson has another final after this game coming up at the top of the hour. Long three and a big collision down low into the paint. Adams went up and maybe knocked the lip of Sarah Shrout. Comes up checking her lip. Incidental contact. That's just the first foul on Westminster in this second half. 4 minutes into the half. 6:18 to play in the third period. Tipped away, blocked. Abby Reese says not today, but pulled back in by the Griffins. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Down low. Shrout draws the foul. Abby Reese tagged with that one. And Shrout will go to the free throw line. Already 2 for 2 in free throws today. Make it 2 for 3 after the first miss. That'll be the second foul on Abby Reese. Just a freshman from Cape Girardeau, but getting a lot of key minutes, especially in SLIAC play. She's 1 for 1 from the field and 2 for 2 from the free throw line. So maybe not quite the same flashy scoring as Johnson, Adams, and Dowler, but still getting it done nonetheless. 15-point deficit now, cut down for the Griffins, and they could potentially make it 12 if they sink a three. Stafford with the rebound. Fontbonne, they bring the ball up the floor on the near side. Here's Stafford, pops a two. Too short of the rim, rebounded by Imamura. Imamura feeds it up to Johnson, but it's stolen away. Who else but Paige Black? A three for Stafford, too strong, and rebounded by Adams. Adams goes into traffic and is able to draw a foul on Shrout. Shrout continues to check her lip, maybe her teeth. Earlier she got bumped in the mouth. What appears to be okay. 5:27 to play in the third period. Imamura brings the ball quickly up on the near side across his center floor. Dribbles with the right hand, changes direction to the left. Zigzags toward the basket, but kicks it back out. Bounce pass to Johnson. Johnson posts up. Johnson throws it up, and Johnson is fouled. Jillian Venegas, a little too tenacious down low, will put Miracle Johnson at the free throw line. 5 fouls already on Fontbonne, and first free throw is good. 61-45 your score in favor of the Blue Jays. Jillian Venegas comes out, and in will come Mallory Profer, the junior from Wildwood, Missouri. And the second free throw makes it 62-45 with 5:13 to go in the third period. It's been all Blue Jays so far in this one. Largest lead of the day has been 24 points. They led by 20 at the half. Down low, zipped pass to Riley Guffey. Guffey has the ball snatched away by Kendall Adams. And an eruption from the Fontbonne bench. So I'm not sure if there's some jarring going down into the trenches that we can't hear up here, but that was a very reactive chant going on from the bench. It's okay to be excited, but that's nearly on the quality of NAIA baseball chirping. Another 2 points, and 62-45. Lead cut back down, but Westminster looking to keep the steam up. Catch and shoot. Dowler from downtown. Dowler rattles it. And a timeout called by James Arnold. You can see some of the leadership by the Venegas sisters. While those players started erupting from the bench, they're telling them, sit down, don't be too quiet. The referees were, or should say, don't be too loud. The referees were kind of telling everyone to get back on their side, but it's to no avail. And the lead is back up to 20 for the Blue Jays. 65-45, 4:44 left to play in the third period. We'll keep it here during the timeout break, as Johnson has 18 points, Adams with 17, and Dowler has 17. Dowler in the last couple of weeks been averaging 11 points per game. Now the referee's talking about this one, how many fouls. There's 15 fouls on Fontbonne and 14 on Westminster. Our head referee is talking to Maureen Sias right now. Now Sias is shaking her head. Having a little bit of an argument here with the officiating crew, which we knew exactly what was happening, but as they're arguing that that's Kendall Adams' fifth foul, that's where the argument's coming in. Sias turned over to the scores table and said that's her fifth foul, and they have 4 fouls up on the board. On Kendall Adams, but now the score sheet doesn't agree with that, so I'd like to know where this shakes out. Back to basketball, 65-45, 4:38 to play in the third period. Westminster leading comfortably. Johnson into the set. Black to inbound. Black floats it inside. Backdoor open look, but Miracle Johnson's there to pull it down, and Shrout collided with Johnson. Slapped her on the arm. And now it's making sense. The 5 fouls were not supposed to be on Adams, but there were how many fouls there were so far in this period. That's the 5th foul, and now it means the bonus for Westminster with 4 fouls on each team. First free throw no good for Johnson. Johnson 8 of 10 from the free throw line today. And can't make the back end. 65-47. Guffey calling for a pick from Shrout. Guffey, meanwhile, drives right to the baseline, looking for an open teammate. Bounce pass to Profer. Profer down low, and a charge. Profer thought she had the bucket. And now Westminster, some hooting and hollering from their bench. Westminster's had a lot to cheer about today, not so much for Fontbonne. 4:20 to play in the third period, 65-47 Blue Jays. Imamura directing traffic, is calling for Michaela Jackson to make a move. They pass the ball out on the perimeter a couple of times. The collision for Dowler, and Dowler loses the basketball, but last touched by Paige Black. We've called her name quite a few times today in steals, as well as Stafford. They've really been part of the reason why Westminster's turned the ball over so many times. Not the fact of bad ball handling, but the fact that Paige Black and Riley Stafford have been so good with the steals. Imamura with a pass down to Jackson. Jackson tries to float it up into traffic, but last tipped out of bounds by the Griffins. I think she intended that one for Abby Reese. Here's a floater for Johnson in the drive. Johnson gets her own rebound and the layup. Miracle Johnson, 6 rebounds and 20 points. Just an average day at the office for Johnson. The office that Winston Churchill made famous. Imamura, tough defense. Here's a drive for Stafford, and Imamura's unable to come up with the basketball, but Stafford at the free throw line, makes the first free throw. Stafford is perfect from the stripe, 6 of 6. Including an old-fashioned three-point play, just has 13 points now. Now, I got something to tell you, and you may not like it. All these stats we've been rattling off have been stopped at halftime, so we'll get you some better updated stats. Johnson with 22 points for the Blue Jays. Callie Dowler with 20 points now. 18 points for Kendall Adams and still 4 points for Abby Reese. 3 for Imamura. And how about that? Only 5 players for Westminster have scored buckets in this game. Meanwhile, for Fontbonne, it's 20 points for Stafford. 7 for 7 from the free throw line. Paige Black, 13 points. 7 for Shrout off the bench. Guffey with 5. Raven Venegas with 3. And Jillian Venegas with 1. So there's your updated stats. Our apologies for not hitting the refresh button there. Speaking of the scoring, no bench points for Westminster. All 67 points have been from the starters. Which, if you think about it, that's an absolutely incredible statistic, considering how many players they've used in this game. They've used 10 players in this game, and almost all the points have come from the starters. And a good showmanship of sportsmanship, a good showing of sportsmanship between Miracle Johnson pulling up Riley Stafford. She collided with the Blue Jay at center floor. Now she's checking herself for bleeding. Got bumped in the nose and the mouth area, and maybe she tastes blood, but it's never a fun time. I'm sure most boxers could tell you. 67-49, 3:21 to play in the third period. Westminster leading Fontbonne. So we'll reset this possession. 21 seconds on the shot clock. Abby Stafford keys it in to Jackson. Jackson tries baseline off the right elbow, and she draws the foul. Tapped on her own elbow. We're already back into the bonus for both teams. So Michaela Jackson with a chance to put her team up possibly back to the 20-point lead. Here's the first free throw, a brick off the back of the iron. Fouls on Sarah Shrout. And now it's making more sense again with the fouls. So the argument earlier by Maureen Sias, head coach for the Griffins, that there were 5 fouls on Kendall Adams, and she has 4 as corrected by now the second half score sheet. 68-51. Abby Reese for 3. Too short off the front of the iron and rebounded by Fontaban. Here they move left to right. Profer with the board. Bring it up the floor is Guffey. Guffey down into the trenches she goes with the bounce pass to Stafford for 2, and she makes it 68-53, 2:41 to play in the third period. Again, we will have the men's game between the Griffins and Blue Jays coming up right after this one. And down low, it's Jackson. Jackson with her first bucket made of the day. 3 points for Jackson, and she has all the points for the bench. That stat makes a little more sense now as well. 70-53. And a big rebound by Abby Reese, but she throws it away. Picked up by Riley Guffey. She can't connect the two, and James Arnold is not happy about that one, stopping his foot like he's playing Dance Dance Revolution. Westminster does come up with the basketball, however. It's 70-53 with 1:51 to play in the third period. Imamura calling a play as she brings the ball onto the far side of the floor, just off of the right wing with the bounce pass up top of the key. That's Dowler. Dowler fires from downtown, and Dowler another 3-point bucket. Callie Dowler, 6 of 9 from beyond the arc, team leading 23 points this afternoon. They get Adams back into the set, and Adams only needs one more bucket to make herself have a 20-point day. Kick it out to the left corner, that's Profer. Profer spins around now to Black. Black on the right wing, 8 seconds on the shot clock. Black pass to Stafford. Stafford into traffic. She's blocked by Abby Reese. Gets a second chance look, but cannot complete the finish. And rebounded by Dowler. Jackson, skip pass, stolen away by Stafford. Out on the far side of the floor. Fontaman will bring it back up left to right in transition. Black, guarded by Dowler, drives down low, and a charge! Imamura takes another one for the Blue Jays. That's at least her third charge taken of the day. And with 49.7 seconds, still a 20-point lead for the Blue Jays. Westminster's been putting up absolute video game numbers through the first part of their non-conference schedule, and here into SLIAC play, this is the fifth place team in the SLIAC and the Griffins. Well, it's just getting crazy with the amount of scoring Westminster's been putting up even on conference opponents. Corey Reese dribbles down into the paint, has her shot blocked and picked up by Paige Black. She'll bring it back up the floor. She's out racing everybody as she pulls up and passes it off to her left to Stafford. Stafford down low. And a shot, 3-point missed by Mallory Profer. Here come the Blue Jays. Dowler from downtown and can't find the basket. 6 seconds on the clock in the third period. Profer, pass up to Black. Black, a long 3 from downtown, and the shot rolls out of bounds, an air ball. That's how the third period ends. We got 10 more minutes to play. 73-53 your score. We'll be right back with more Westminster women's basketball on the Blue Jays Sports Network. Welcome back to Henry P. Iba Court in Fulton, Missouri. James Stanley with you on the Blue Jays Sports Network. The Westminster women's basketball program leads Fontbonne 73-53 at the start of the fourth period. 8-1, Westminster looks to improve to 9 wins on the season and still undefeated in SLIAC play to 4-0. Meanwhile, for the Griffins, a loss here today, they will fall below 500 for the first time this season in the SLIAC. Raven Venegas out of the break, drives to the hoop. She is fouled, and she'll go back to the free throw line. James Arnold with a few more tips for his team, and this one quite interesting, telling his players that if they get tired, just call a timeout. They have timeouts to lose at this point, so they don't have it up on the scoreboard. So I would have to guess he has at least 3, possibly 4 timeouts to work with if he's telling his players just burn them if you need them. But one free throw made for Raven Venegas, and with 8:40 to play, 73-54 Westminster. Dollar out on the right wing with Imamura, Adams, as well as Janae Williams and Abby Reese out on the floor. And with that bucket, Adams now has 20 points. Adams with 20, Johnson with 22, and Dowler with 23. Reese has 4 points, Imamura with 3. She's more of a force in the rebounds department. Already has 6 rebounds on the day. Time for the team lead in boards with Johnson and Adams. 5 assists. That's where she really comes into key. She's has a very high basketball IQ and is able to figure out who to dish it off to for the best chance to score, and that's one of the reasons why these Blue Jays are just absolutely blowing teams out. Meanwhile, Abby Reese gets another 2 points. 77-54 with 8:50 to go. Guffey pass off to Madison Boaz, freshman from Oakville, Missouri, getting some more playing time. Raven Venegas down low, beats out Williams to the basketball, and Imamura is there to save it. Imamura brings the ball up the floor, the pass up to Adams. Now back up to Imamura, top of the key. She dribbles right, rolls to her right, gets a pick from Dowler, and continues to roll down to the right wing. Pass to Williams, slaps the basketball. Now kick back out to Adams. Adams drives, Adams down low, and a block on Raven Venegas. A little too tenacious in her defense, and Adams will go to the free throw line. And now a technical foul called on Riley Stafford. I didn't see what she did. She's looking wide-eyed, trying to figure out exactly what she did, and now just trying to read her lips as she talks to Coach Sias that maybe she was pushed and reacted just a little too much. Whatever mom tells you. At school, they don't usually see the first punch. It's the second one they see, so watch out who you're punching and when. Or in other words, don't retaliate. Adams makes both her free throws. She just makes one of 2. 79-54 your score. Now I had it right the first time. She makes both of the free throws from the technical. Now she'll have a chance to make 2 more free throws. Makes it 3 for 3 on this trip. And then Fontbonne will get the ball back. And Westminster's just going to let them have it. As the Blue Jays now lead at 81-54. 27-point lead, largest of the day for Westminster. Profer out on the right wing with the pass over to the left wing. That's Raven Venegas. Gives it off for a 3-point shot for Guffey. Guffey gets her own rebound. What awareness to go down low and get it. Meanwhile, Black airballs it. And it's tipped out of bounds last by Janae Williams. Williams almost forced a turnover had control of Raven Venegas. I think that's who the pass was intended for, but it won't matter as Riley Guffey walks with the basketball one too many steps and gives it back to the Blue Jays, leading 81-54 with 7:55 to play in the game. Imamura calling for Dowler to give a pick out on the right wing. Now she's being double-teamed. Imamura has to drive down low with 20 seconds on the shot clock. Finds a wide open look and nothing but nylon for Michaela Jackson. And actually for Abby Reese. Reese hits that one from 15 feet out, and it's 83-54. 29-point lead for the Blue Jays. Raven Venegas trying to post up against Williams. Has a move, and with the hook shot, can't get it to go. Adams with the rebound. Adams, Imamura, down low to Williams. Williams and Raven Venegas battle of the Titans, and that time Venegas won that one. They've really been going at it down low in the trenches. Bounce pass from Raven Venegas. Off to her right. Riley Guffey can't follow through. Misses her rebound, and the Blue Jays have a chance to score. Dowler from downtown. Dowler clanks off the back of the iron and out of bounds. Last touched by the Griffins. Maybe Paige Black touched the basketball, went into the student section. And a timeout on the floor called with 6:47 to play. Westminster 83, Fontauban 54. We're right back with more Westminster Women's Hoops on the Blue Jays Sports Network. Welcome back to Westminster, Missouri on the Blue Jays Sports Network this afternoon. James Stanley with you. And thanks for spending your Saturday with us here. 83-54, Westminster on top of Fontauban with 6:47 to play in the game. Inbound to Adams is swiped away by Paige Black. Been doing that all game long. Turnover for the Blue Jays and a steal for Paige, another in her belt. Black. Uncontested down low and an easy 2-point bucket. Makes it 83-56. Blue Jays 3 points away from making it a 30-point deficit. They blew out Central College of the Bible here at home back on December 3rd. And now they're looking to blow out Fontauban in SLIAC play. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Adams drives down low, can't get her shot to go down, and a couple of offensive chances by Jaden Monig, the 6'1" freshman from Glasgow, Missouri. No good, and here come the Griffins. Madison Boaz down low, lost a handle on the basketball, gives it to Black. Black dribbles 5 feet in, now kicks it out, wide open three for Shrout. Shrout cans it. 83-59 after the 3-point bucket from Shrout. Her first 3-pointer of the day. That gives her 10 points. Imamura directing traffic, calling for a play. 5:30 to go in the game. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Here's Abby Reese. She drives left side of the baseline and draws the basketball out of bounds. Dribbled it off her foot. The Griffins take back over left to right. Miracle Johnson checks back in, so she'll be on the floor with Monig, Imamura, Kendall Adams, and Courtney Wolf. Wolf looking for her first bucket of the day, just 0 for 1 from the field, and her shot was from beyond the arc. So see if the sophomore can get on the scoring party. Riley Stafford a three. Too strong, and a big rebound for Wolf. Wolf brings the ball up the floor and passes it off to her left. That's to Adams. Adams drives hard down low. Thought about pulling up and firing. Instead finds Miracle Johnson into the paint. And Johnson with another 2 points. Miracle Johnson, 24 points, ties the team lead with Kendall Adams off of the assist. 4:46 to go. And this game anything but over, except for the final score. 3-point bucket response. And Guffey comes through with a three-pointer. Guffey has 8 points. That's her first 3-point make of the day. She's 1 for 4 from beyond the arc. Imamura almost had the ball snatched away by Paige Black, but comes away with it. She's trying to drain some time off the clock now. 15 seconds on the shot clock, and she's blocked by Paige. Paige Black comes away with the basketball. Dashing through the floor, and a bounce pass off to her left. Boaz can't come through with it. No, it's Guffey. Guffey down low, guarded by Imamura. And Fontaban just needs to reset, but instead, Guffey travels with the basketball. And it's 85-62, still in favor of Westminster with 4:04 to go in the game. Monig comes out of the game, and Connor Hadley, another freshman from Anna, Illinois, first year with the Blue Jays, will come back in. Lots of young talent that James Arnold has coming up through the ranks here. Johnson, this is her final year with the team, a senior. They feed it back outside to Wolf for three, and Wolf swirls it down. Wolf, 1 for 2 from beyond the arc, and she joins the scoring squad. 88-62, Westminster leads. And some howls from the crowd. Guess here at Westminster they howl, and at Mizzou, for Mizzou basketball, Adam Wolf, they say feed the Wolf. 3-point response for Fontaban makes it 88-65, 3:20 to go in the game. Hadley heads up, finds Johnson. What a find, and what a bucket. Miracle Johnson, 26 points. Shane Adams keep going back and forth as to who leads the team in points in this game. Dowler is 23, not to mention. Adams with 24. Paige Black, stutter step, goes to the baseline, and the ball holds out on the rim. Rim says not today, rebounded by Hadley, and Adams finds Johnson. Johnson, 28 points. What a miracle for her. 92-65, and the Blue Jays could potentially reach 100. Adams, she brings the ball up the floor by herself, nearly walked with it. And Imamura, no-look pass off to her right. That's Wolf. Wolf to Imamura, stolen away by Paige Black. Paige Black to the hoop and scoops and scores. Points off turnovers have been her friend today. And 92-67 with 2:09 to go. Westminster will improve to 9-1, 4-0 in the SLIAC. First place in conference. Adams, 2. Karams off the back of the iron. Has a chance to pull it back down. She does. It was tipped away by a defender. Adams, here's the floater. What she does so well. Adams, however, charges, and that'll be her 5th foul. Good night, Irene. And Adams will have to check out. Adams fouls out. She will finish her day with 24 points and no chance to take the lead in scoring, with Miracle Johnson sitting at 28 and 12 minutes away from her final. So Johnson is heading to the locker room and on her way to the academic facility where she will take her final of the first semester of her senior year. Paige Black took a tumble on the floor. Actually going to call her for the foul. So with 1 minute and 39 seconds, Westminster making a couple substitutions. Abby Sutterfield in, as well as Shelby Jackson. And Paige Black Some of the fans yelling, 13's out. 13's out, and what they're referring to, Paige Black picking up her 5th foul. So that'll be all she wrote for her, and Madison Boaz will check in. Seeing the future face of these players, or these teams, I should say. Lots of freshmen here in the final 1 minute and 30 seconds of the game. Shelby Jackson loses the basketball out of bounds, and just a note, Jackson works with us here on the Blue Jays Sports Network on the football side of things as a camera operator, and we appreciate the help that she gives us here at Westminster College. Here's a drive down low and a foul against Guffey. Guffey will go to the free throw line. Third team down 92-67. Unless Westminster drains 3 threes, which I guess it's possible with $1:23 to go, I don't see them scoring 4 buckets on 4 possessions. James Arnold, head coach here at Westminster College, not trying to run up the score. So there's 2 points from the free throw line for Guffey, makes it 92-69. And this is not a bad effort at all for Fontbonne. 69 points, or even just averaging about 70. They usually do it for a win, but their defense is just so tough to do against a team that has 3 players that are scoring 20-plus points per game. There is a foul, however, called against Guffey. And that's the 4th foul on Guffey, and Jackson will be at the foul line. Jackson's first free throw is nothing but nylon, makes it 93-71. Here's the second one that rims out. 55 seconds to go. Westminster will sit on top of the SLIAC out of this one with an upcoming game on Monday against Nebraska Wesleyan. That game will tip off at 11 a.m. They have a school day here at Westminster College. Some 5th graders will be in attendance for the basketball game. That's why it's so early. Jackson fires a 3-point ball that falls out of bounds, but pulled back in by Hadley, and Hadley can't get her bucket to fall. So there will be no shot clock now with 24.9 seconds to go in the game. And Hannah Macon to check in, as well as Kendall Miller. Macon, the senior from St. Louis, Missouri, Normandy High School, will play with the potentially final possession of the game for Fontbonne. Here's Guffey as she kicks it back out to Stafford for 3. Stafford, swish! Stafford with 30 points on the game. Have a day, Stafford. Here comes Jackson up the floor, and I think Jackson's just trying to run the clock down. As the acting point guard will wait for the final buzzer to sound, and your final score from Westminster College. The Blue Jays knock off the Griffins 93-74 in SLIAC Saturday afternoon basketball action. Leading scorer for the Blue Jays and player of the game. And actually, I'll give the player of the game to Kendall Adams with a double-double, 10 rebounds, 24 points. 10 of 12 from the free throw line. Miracle Johnson, 10 of 13. Really close. I guess if you could choose 3 players of the game, or even Riley Stafford with 30 points, that's an awfully big performance at the collegiate level. That's at least an honorable mention for the Griffins. But regardless, 4 players in this one with 20-plus points. Dowler with 23, Adams with 24, and Johnson with 28 for the Blue Jays. And Riley Stafford, 30 points, 7 of 7 from the free throw line, 10 of 22 from the field, 3 of 10 from beyond the arc with 4 boards. I think something that kind of slipped under the radar in the second half was how well the Blue Jays adjusted at not fouling, and especially not fouling Paige Black. She had 10 free throws, 3 10 free throw attempts in the first half and then finished the game 9 for 10. So Westminster did a good job not being so aggressive with her. She had quite a few steals and really led the way for, well, the points off turnovers. 22 points off turnovers for the Griffins in this one and 30 points off turnovers for Westminster. The Blue Jays out-rebounded the Griffins 36-27. 10 offensive rebounds, 26 defensive. 15 assists for the Blue Jays. A lot of great ball distribution, especially with Rei Imamura, the junior from Kumamoto, Japan, really making a difference for this team. There's so many players on this Westminster program that really just each specialize in their own way, and that's one of the things that makes this team so deadly. Johnson's so good at offensive rebounds and scoring. Scoring's always important, but then you got the scoring from Kendall Adams, the ability for Rei Imamura to get rebounds, so she's so quick on the floor and assists, dish the ball around. Dowler from beyond the arc, a sharpshooter. There's just so many important pieces to the puzzle here for James Arnold, as he is looking pretty with a record of 9-1 and 4-0 in the SLIAC, sitting first place in the division. Meanwhile, Fontauban falls to 3-6, 1-2, and 5th in conference play. That's going to do it for us here, and we'd like one more time to say get well soon to Mr. Bob Arnold, James Arnold's father. He was supposed to be here for this homestand, and wish him a speedy recovery as he's listening from his hospital bed back east. We love you, Bob, and hope you feel better soon. And for all of us here at Westminster College, this is James Stanley saying so long and farewell for Sports Information Director Kirsten Carney. And for everyone else as part of the not just William Woods, but Westminster College broadcast team, James Stanley saying so long and farewell. Westminster wins this one 93-74. And upcoming next here on the Blue Jays Sports Network, it's the men's side in the SLIAC Game of the Week, and we hope to see you there.